Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia, it's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank, Brave the Beginning, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Greetings and salutations, loyal listeners of Gwinnett Business Radio. Welcome to another, hopefully soon, award-winning edition of said show. I am your slightly annoying host, Stephen Julian. We've got two great guests. I am excited that we're going to get to interview Diane Martinez with Conscious Creating Life Coaching and Jason Schneider, the managing partner of Schneider and Williamson. But before we get to our guests, it is time to introduce my wonderful co-host, Harper LaBelle.
How are you today? Did you blow away in the wind? Small dog warnings?
When did I move to Chicago? Yeah, all the wind jokes. Yeah, it was, no, come on. I don't blow away in the wind, but.
You get knocked off balance like Jim Cantori during the hurricanes.
I did lean in.
The sign is waving in the background.
I did
it's
lean
unbelievable.
I did lean in.
You know,
that is so fascinating. People will see Jim Cantori and like, oh, Jim Cantori's in town.
Something bad's going to happen weather-wise. Yeah.
He never has anybody photobombing his
And he
reports.
doesn't get welcomed to Business Radio X a lot, does he?
No.
Because that means that it's going to rain or flood here in the studio. We don't want that.
Glad that Dan is back producing.
I thought he quit. He was ready to.
Yeah, and I'm wondering when we're going to get somebody else's voice to bring us in. It's been a while.
We have the same guy over and over
Man.
again. He's so monotone when he does it.
But you guys don't listen to us to hear us pontificate about voices and producers. You really are here to listen to the guests.
And we're going to learn something today.
We are going to learn a lot today. So time to start with Diane Martinez. Diane is here from Conscious Creating Life Coaching. You created a business name that I had to slow down and make sure I say it correctly. But Diane, welcome to the studio.
Thanks so much for having me.
Glad that you're here. Tell everybody about Conscious Creating Life Coaching and exactly what you do.
Sure. So I started Conscious Creating Life Coaching about 6 years ago in April. And I did that because I've been in the coaching space since 2012. I was a health coach. I still am a certified health coach. Worked in corporate health for a while. And it didn't take long to see that all coaching is life coaching. The people that had the greatest struggles with their health, that they really just had trouble moving the needle and getting any better, it wasn't because they didn't understand that green beans are better than French fries. It's because there were other deeper issues there that needed addressing. And that sort of motivated me to move into life coaching. So I did a 6-month program with Alan Cohen, who's a prolific author and a wonderful teacher, and hung up my own shingle.
Life coaching is one of those things. I think a lot of people have heard of it. Some people have had experiences with it. For those people that have maybe thought about it but never done it, can you give some tips and tricks other than obviously they need to hire Conscious Creating Life Coaching, but other than that, give some people who've maybe thought about it and maybe have some reservations or maybe have some questions. Like, what are the top questions you get? What are the things people need to think about?
Well, when people come to me, the absolutely most common complaint that they have is that they feel stuck. Nothing is horribly wrong in their life. They are usually employed, usually professionals. They might have a family and a nice home, but they feel like there is just things aren't going as well as they could go. Something is amiss, and they have no idea where to start. That's usually what people come to me with, but more recently, I've been doing a lot of corporate events where companies bring me in to speak to their people about topics that are important to them. I did one for a software company on building healthy relationships. I do a lot of webinars and in-person presentations on stress management, and strangely, a lot of classes on vision boards. A lot of people want vision board classes.
I think one of the other things that I would say is I think sometimes people will go, if I'm gonna work with you as a life coach, it's got to be more than just answers. It's got to be more than just knowledge. So how do you help people get to true transformation? Because knowledge can be an aha moment. Oh, I learned something I didn't know before. But I think you're coaching the best coaching is a little more than that.
Oh, indeed it is. And that's such a great question because as a life coach, I do not give answers. I ask questions.
What?
I don't.
No answers?
I don't.
Wait, she just gave answers in this interview. So she's not life coaching us. She's just doing an interview.
I
mean, with my clients.
Gotcha.
But,
just kidding.
Yes, you did. Well, I, as a holistic life coach, the philosophy behind it is that we each have our own answers within us. And that my job as a coach is not to tell you what to do. It's like get out of that relationship or take that offer or move to another city, is to help you go within and sort out what you really want. Because so many times we are going through the motion of our life without thinking about it, without understanding, is this what I want? Is this the life that I want to live? Am I doing things that feed my soul and make me happy? And usually it doesn't take that much digging because if they're reaching out to me, they have been uncomfortable enough, long enough, that they are ready to do that reflection and do it. So I don't tell people what to do, but I help them sort out their own. And actually, what we're really going for is their best next step, because life can unfold in beautiful and unexpected ways. And if you just know what you want to do next, that's enough to put you on the path.
It seems like I have a difficult time making the decision that green beans are better than French fries. You said that earlier.
Yeah, I
I'm not there
disagree with
yet.
that
Yeah, I'm
statement.
not sure if I can. I'm going to have to change. I mean, that's what you're asking people to do.
Commit to it.
Practicality. In other words, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not doing it. I'm sitting in my chair for 8 hours a day, and then I don't have the energy to go to the gym beforehand, and I'm always running late, so I can't go before, and I don't want to do it after. Practicality, though, and putting things into exercise isn't easy to do, but once you do it, then you get the result. So how do you get somebody to go from, well, I think I have a problem here, to where they go to the next step is help me get to that next step?
Yes, that initial inertia of just having trouble getting out of the gate and actually starting something.
Some is in the mind, but then some is in your actions as well. You've got to get your feet moving, or so to speak, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. There is magic in motion. We can conceptualize, we can talk about grand and lofty things, but if nothing changes in what you do, then nothing will change. So to me, it's the baby steps. So many times we go for the dramatic things. It's like, lose 40 pounds in 2 weeks. That's like, no, you're not.
Let's lose 5 first, right? Let's lose 5.
Let's start with 2.
Okay.
So it's the baby step. We're not going to change everything across the board. Let's start with something simple. And this is where I listen keenly to them to try to hear their story, to hear the blocks that they have in their mind about why they do what they do and why they can't possibly change. And just sort of tease that apart bit by bit. And it's always sidling up to things. We humans don't take change very gracefully.
We don't, do we?
I know. Yeah. I'm sorry. I should have made sure. I hope all of our listeners are sitting down. But we don't take change gracefully.
So the ones that say they do, they're liars. I don't take change very well, even though I tell people, yeah, that's okay. You go ahead, do whatever you want, and I'm changing, which I don't like. But
Yes.
recognizing that and being not only educated, but brought to multiple different answers that might work better for one person than it does for another. It's okay, right? It's a
Totally
find the answer
okay.
that works best for you.
Absolutely. I mean, it is all very personalized, and that's why I love my one-on-one coaching, is because I meet my clients where they are, even though I have a 3-month program, and each session has a theme to it as I, walk them through it. It's always looking through the lens of their personal life, because nobody wants other people's answers or my answers or my opinion. They want their own. So we are always approaching it.
But is it fair to say that there are answers there? But if I only know the one, then that's all I know. So I'm only going to do you can't do what you don't know. So yeah, I put it this way. When I coach kids, I usually say 2 + 2 is, and then they answer 4. I'll say it a second. I'll say it a third time. And they'll look at me like, what do you think? You don't think I know math? 2 + 2 is 4. You got to put this foot in front of the other and swing the bat, and then you're going to hit the ball. But 3 + 1 is also 4. 1 + 3. So there's different ways that you might do this that another kid doesn't do, but the result is that you hit the ball and you end up on second base. Mm-hmm. Right? So there's different ways to get to the same type of goal, and you help to point out what some of those other options are that may work. They may not, but at least I know a little bit more about the vast variety of options that are in front of me. You help point that out, correct?
Absolutely. It has to be something that, resonates with them at least a little bit. Practices to get them started. And I always encourage people to personalize what they do, see what works for them, and be light about it. Don't feel like they have to squeeze out the right technique, the right answer, the right approach at the beginning. This is a process, and you have to have, I almost named my business Space and Grace, because you have to have space and grace to allow yourself to experiment, to try, to, have it not be a success, get back up, try again, do something else until you sort out the right path. And if you can be comfortable with that journey, then you're really golden, because that's life.
Yeah. We're speaking with Diane Martinez. She is the creator and owner of Conscious Creating Life Coaching. We also found out in this interview that Harper is available for math tutoring. So make sure and check him out on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Just addition. I don't do subtraction or division.
I was going to, because so the slightly annoying side of me and also the math mind that I used to have a long time ago, you said 3 plus 1. That's a great thing. And I went, yep, so is 5 minus 1, so is 4 plus 0. So's 2 times 2. So it was irritating.
You should write a book about that,
I
or
should.
we should
And
talk
no
to
one would
somebody
read
who's
it.
written a book.
Oh, let's do it. So Diane, we're gonna. So there you go. Led me right into the book. See, I had another question lined up. Let me ask my question, then we'll get to the book. We'll tease the book. Diane, I wanted to ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot. We're going to see how good of a life coach you are, sitting across from people you just met. Is there one simple but powerful mindset shift that people can make even today? Is there something you can give our listeners that are listening today and go, hey, if you made this shift, you might be able to start consciously creating a life that you love, which kind of is in your tagline.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here if I couldn't. People need to realize that they have tremendous creative power, most of the time that is untapped and unconscious. That's why I named my business Conscious Creating, because we are each creating our own life experience through the beliefs that we hold, the thoughts that we think, and the words that we speak. Now, if those are all playing along, below the radar of our awareness, the creating that we do is usually haphazard, kind of mixed results, some good, some not so good. But if we elevate those things to our awareness, we become aware. It's like, oh, I believe that if something can go wrong, it will. How does that serve me? Or if I believe I'm too old or too stupid, or I've missed the boat when it comes to trying.
That's me.
Trying something.
Harper had a moment of awareness.
Yes,
I'm
I
too old
know.
and stupid all the time.
I do not.
If we believe that, we have missed our opportunity, then of course that's going to limit what is available to us. So my initial words for people wanting to sidle up to this and try it is to understand that the thoughts that you think, the words that you say have tremendous creative power. As much as you can, speak positively, think positively about yourself and others, be open to possibilities, and lean into that instead of the gloom and doom. I'm going to sort of save myself from disappointment by expecting the worst.
Diane, you resonate some things that I've learned many years ago. I'll never take credit for it, but there was someone who said, there's the man who says he can and the man who says he cannot, and they're both right. And I tried it. I'm going to add into your reflection and being open and all that, but being honest as well. Like, I've probably said I can't more than I should. So I should reevaluate that and stop saying it if I want to have more positive things going on in my life. Is there fairness in what I just said right there?
Very true. Very true. And a great way to tap into that is to get yourself a journal. #iRoll. People usually don't like to do that. But
how did you know Stephen was going to eye roll before he did it?
Because it was like journaling. It's nobody wants to sit down and write again. I'm not in school anymore. But
I like long walks down on the beach. Yes, and I'm a Sagittarius, and my favorite color is orange.
Seventh inning rallies and
stuff like that. Stephen has written that down so many times that even I get
currently
sick of reading.
journal, Harper. I've got back into journaling a few years ago, and it has been a fantastic habit and life discipline, and I'm amazed at. And sometimes I write nothing, just silly stuff.
How
Sometimes
can you
I
write nothing? If you write nothing,
I
you're
write
not
nothing.
writing.
I write nothing.
Oh, you do that. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
That's better than not writing and
I
taking
write.
credit for
Okay,
it.
in the context of Seinfeld's show, I write nothing. Right. So anyway, let's ask Diane.
Diane, what do you think about that?
I think that journaling is indeed a wonderful exercise. I can't speak to the physiology of it and why it works, but somehow when we write, we can access insights, understandings that we can't if we just stay in the looping thoughts of our mind. And a great way to figure out what you believe and what some blocks are, which you usually tell yourself, is to put it to paper. Get a pen and paper and start writing down some of the things you believe or the things you've been holding on to for a long time that maybe your parents told you or a coach or a teacher or something that may or may not be true or helpful to you.
That's fantastic. Diane, Harper kind of teased the book. And before we talk about the book briefly, I guess what I'll do is I'll kind of ask it in a concept of what you do, your coaching is available in a few different ways. Number one, you are available for one-to-one coaching.
Yes, I am.
You also do classes. If there's a business owner listening who wants to kind of help people with vision boards, you talked about that. You've also talked with municipalities. You've gone in and talked to city governments and city employees and county employees and things like that. And then if people are not ready to take those steps, there are two other steps. So I want to ask you about the book, and then I want to ask you about Patreon. So let's start with the book. The book is available on Amazon. Tell us about the book that you wrote.
It is, yes. The book is called Open Up and Get Unstuck. I wrote that because, as I mentioned earlier, that's what most people complain about, is being stuck in their lives. And I think that is because we as humans are meant to evolve and create and grow and deepen and expand the entirety of our lives, not just until we get a real job or we have kids or something. And when they stop evolving and growing, they feel it. There is a dissonance, a disturbance in the force that, makes life feel not awesome, not exciting. And so I wrote the book to address that and to help it be practical and not just, pie in the sky theology, or not theology, but, philosophy. I have tips to open body, mind, and spirit at the end of each chapter. Practices, simple things people can do today to begin to open up what life might be calling them toward.
And the book is not designed to be one of these things where you buy the book and it's only step one. Of course, they can go to other levels of engagement with you, but the book is also designed to kind of be standalone. Like if you get to the end of the book and you do the practices and you're like, hey, that really helped. That might be the only interaction they have with you, and that's okay.
Oh, that would be lovely.
That'd be
I totally
fantastic.
support that. My job in life is to empower people.
Yeah.
And if they're empowered by reading the book, then I'll chalk that up as a win.
But if people want to go a little deeper or people want to have more hands-on, they can do the one-on-one coaching, but talk about the Patreon community.
Yeah, I'm super excited about Patreon. We began that just a few months ago. It is a community of women only. Sorry, guys.
Oh, come on.
But I know. So sorry.
I'm stuck as a man. Dadgummit. I'll have to get unstuck anyway, sorry. Mixing metaphors. Go ahead.
What I like about Patreon is that it does make life coaching available to a much greater swath of people, because one-on-one coaching is expensive. One-on-one coaching of any kind is more expensive. Patreon makes it affordable for nearly everybody. They can join at whatever tier they want. There's no contract. There's no limits. They can move between tiers, jump on, jump off as they like. Yet the quality of the content is there. There's videos, there's worksheets. We have lives, questions and answers, behind the scenes videos, trying to share as much as I can with the members, and the members vote on the topic for each month. And this month we are doing Breaking Free of Negativity.
Yeah, real quick. I went to an all-boy Catholic school.
No
for
girls
high school.
allowed?
No dogs allowed.
No
No girls
girls
allowed
allowed.
either. Right. I'm just
Wow.
saying the
You
old.
almost got in trouble there.
No, I meant for the Snoopy.
Oh, there
Charlie
you go.
Brown.
No
one.
dogs
No
allowed. Okay.
dogs allowed. He couldn't. Snoopy couldn't go. So I understand, and I didn't have to worry about how I smelled or how I looked or what I said, and I got to be me. So I would imagine there's a great joy in women having only women around, where they don't have to worry about a guy being around and have to impress anybody. So I get that. There's a certain respect that I have for that. But some of the topics that you have, I wrote these down. This is from your website, right? Releasing perfectionism, tuning into inner thoughts. You're smiling because you know I'm going to go to all of these, or at least I'll do a couple of them. Releasing blame, the importance of joy and creativity, making good decisions. How difficult is that to make a good decision and be consistent with that? Directing energy, moving beyond limiting beliefs, the wisdom of I don't know. That's the one that captured me, because when my dad said, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? My 3-word answer was always, I don't know. And it's okay to have an I don't know for a while. But then it gets to the point where, okay, well, you really need to, you got to move. There's magic in the movement. That's what you told us earlier.
There's magic in motion. That's right. I did the same thing when I went to college back in the day. My declared major was undecided until my counselor was like, Diane, write something down. I'm like,
I did. I wrote undecided.
Yes. It's like Stephen writing nothing. He writes nothing.
Renaissance woman. I'm going to learn it all.
But it's okay to realize you need some help, and it's okay that if you're a little slow to get there, it's okay. But let's make some movements. Go ahead.
That's one of the things that I brought up in the book, is that I don't know is a good thing, because if you don't know, then you're open. If you know, I know all that, I know about that, you're closed to other input, other information, a different perspective. And to be open, if you don't know, then you're open to learning.
When a lady asks a man, what do you want to do? And he says, I don't know. It could mean one of two things. One is, I haven't really thought about it, and I don't have a final decision for you yet. And the other is, I really don't know. So
I abdicate the decision usually.
Yeah, and he's not. This isn't a word game problem that you're. I don't know means I don't know. I haven't really considered it. So when Stephen says to me, I don't know what I'm doing, I believe him.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to clarify, my compliance department is requesting that we clarify that Diane is not a relationship counselor.
I am a certified holistic life coach.
But life coaching might help with your relationships, because all of a sudden Harper's veering toward relationship issues.
Well, you started with health, and then you moved. There's a bigger market out there, and I'm going to expand and grow, and that's pretty much the path you've taken, right? There's more out there, and I'm going to tap into it every way that I can.
I liked how you started it. As you were doing health, you went, well, that's really part of the whole life, so I might as well become a holistic life coach.
There's more than green beans and French fries.
There you go. I learned that, and a whole lot of other things.
I think there's a chapter in this book. I'm going to find it.
If you haven't figured it out yet, this is, Diane, you create great conversations that then lead to potentially great results as people change their lives, and there's no limit of what we can talk about. But unfortunately, we got to move on in our show. So I want to give you an opportunity for those people who want to learn more, whether it's the one-on-one coaching, the Patreon community, the book, and other ways. How can they get in contact with you?
I have got a wonderful website called consciouscreatinglifecoaching.com. They will find over 70 blog posts that I've written, over 30 little videos that give them a better sense of who I am and what I do. If they want to sign up for a free one-on-one call to explore one-on-one coaching or reach out to me in any way, they can find me there. They can follow me on Instagram at Life Coach Martinez.
Life Coach Martinez. Diane Martinez from Conscious Creating Life Coaching. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate Diane being on. I'm going to learn to love green beans more and maybe French fries a little bit less. But another thing that we love is Subaru of Gwinnett. We love that they are a sponsor of our show. We appreciate everything that they do. 2950 Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. They're 2 blocks north of the mall. The Impreza, the Legacy, the Forester, the Outback, the BRX. They are all available for you there. You can visit them at SubaruofGwinnett.com. Join their family today. You can come in and see the difference. If you're already a Subaruist, then you can check out their Facebook page for the latest news, offers, and community events.
Before we get to our next guest, when are you going to buy your BRX? Every time you say
After my wife tells me it's okay to do so. You know
that's
that.
good life coaching.
That's great coaching.
That's great.
There.
That's relationship coaching. Because every time
but
you
Diane
say
doesn't
it,
do relationship
I know, but you have a good
But you
relationship.
probably should.
Well, you have. When you say, but you and they're all great cars. But
Have
when
you
you say
seen what that BRX
I
looks
know,
like?
I know.
That's why
that's why I'm
me.
asking when you're going to buy one. Because you say it with BRX. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
Well, the WRX is a little bit longer to say. The W takes more than
exactly.
the B.
All right, we've got another guest here, and he has been patiently waiting and putting up with our shenanigans, and we locked the door so he couldn't get out. All right, we have Jason Schneider. He is a managing partner from Schneider and Williamson Law Firm. Jason, welcome to the studio.
So good to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So,
May I just say before you start
please.
that I think Diane might start her relationship coaching with the two of you.
yeah, good luck. I don't think she should because she would quit. But anyway,
Well, we're not ready for a divorce yet, but if we need legal counsel, where would we go?
Mike's ready to divorce us, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That really is. That's more of a termination.
He's hiding in the back. All right. Jason, and we will take your, we'll take that under advisement. Ooh, see what I did there? Jason, you're a managing partner of Schneider and Williamson. Tell us about your law firm, specifically what you guys do and how you help the community.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Stephen Harper, for having me on. And I am Jason Schneider. I'm the managing partner and founder of Schneider Williamson, and we are a personal injury firm. So we represent individuals who have been injured in accidents, and we file their claims with the insurance companies, hopefully resolve the claims that way, but ultimately a lot of cases end up going to litigation, so we are also a litigation firm, and we specialize in that. And I've been doing this for over 40 years now, helping folks that have been in accidents. And as I was driving up here, my office is in Sandy Springs, and I was driving up here up 85, and I saw all those billboards. I thought a real interesting topic, if you want to get into it, is how does a small firm compete with the behemoths? And that's something that really applies across a whole bunch of industries.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because I was going to say you've been in business for 40 years, and you're not and we won't grace them with any of their taglines or anything like that. In the old days, they were on the back cover of the Yellow Pages, and now they're in huge billboards and all these commercials. So what sets you guys apart? What makes you guys different? How do you find your clients?
Right. So, yeah, and I don't want to disparage any of those firms. No. Obviously, they do great work. Mm-hmm. And I guess what I'll analogize it to is some people like going to the Home Depot and some people like going to the corner hardware store. Mm-hmm. And Atlanta, I think I've heard the figure, gets 1,000 accidents a day, so there's room for everyone. And I cannot compete with the big advertisers, and so I don't try to. So I look for the person that is more interested in perhaps more individualized care, perhaps speaking to an attorney, not a call center, and just finding the niche of doing high quality work for people. Not to say that the big firms don't, but it's just a very different experience.
Two different ways to get it a good result, and I would say there's a little more close knit relationship. So let's just ask this: your total team. How many attorneys do you guys have in your office, and just kind of talk about the team that you've assembled?
Yeah, so there's 3 lawyers in the firm, including myself, and we have a staff of 5, so I have 3 paralegals. And it's really interesting you ask that question because even if you get into a big firm, ultimately, who's going to be your lawyer, right? It always comes down to a team of lawyers and a team of paralegals. So really, when you come right down to it, no matter what the size of an organization it is, you're shaking your head because you've obviously dealt with a lot of organizations over the years. It always comes down to who's my lawyer, who's my paralegal, who's my case manager. So we do the same quality work, or I'd like to think better quality work than larger firms, because just of our experience and our dedication to our clients.
And again, this is not a disparaging comment, but the person we see on the commercials, the person we see on the billboard, you're not meeting with that person, right? You're meeting with your particular attorney that's going to take on your case, and maybe there's more than one in a particular thing. So let's ask this: when it comes to being a personal injury attorney, what are the wrong times that people call a personal injury? Is there a wrong time to call? Is there, because obviously an event happens. Would your advice be, hey, if you've got even one iota of thought of I might need to talk to an attorney about this, go ahead and call and start the process? Would that be the advice? And what other advice would you give around personal injury?
Sure. I'm going to step back a minute and talk about another behemoth in my industry, and that's the insurance companies. And they have done such a good job. They have great commercials. I laugh at them. We all know the Gecko, and we all know Flo, and you're in good hands. And so the insurance companies have done a great job in educating the public, or miseducating the public, that you don't really need a lawyer if you're in an accident, that we will take care of you. So I cannot tell you how many clients have like been, oh gosh, I really didn't want to call you, and why? You know, what do they know? They've just been really indoctrinated by this advertising. So the answer to your question is, and it seems so self-serving, but it literally is call right away, you know, because there's no fee, right? We handle cases, and most people know this by now, but I do have to say it because some don't. And the way that personal injury plaintiff attorneys work is that we get paid on a contingency fee basis. So if there's no recovery, there's no fee. So conversations, consultations are always going to be free. So I always recommend that clients, anybody that's been in an accident or has a question, you know, reach out and ask the questions you have, because as everyone always says, there's no such thing as a bad question.
And to your point, talking about the insurance companies, I find it interesting that I don't know if anybody else has had this experience, but especially over the last 10 years, it seems like anytime even I just call about my home or I call about something's happened with my car and it wasn't my fault or whatever, the number one thing an agent will say is, well, let's not make a claim unless we absolutely have to, which I'm like, well, what am I paying for then? So I just want, I guess I'm piling on a little bit, but I mean, that is an illustration of your point that you're making.
Well, that's a little different point,
Yeah.
but yes, so common that I have so many clients say, well, I don't want to make a claim. And it's, okay, so why do you, I mean, you have to have some basic minimum coverage, but you don't have to have this extra coverage. And what I say to them is, if you don't want to make a claim, cancel that coverage. Kind of put them on the spot there. I mean, that's why you've bought, for example, uninsured motorist coverage. That's why you've bought medical payments coverage. You want to cover yourself, your passengers, in the event of an accident, and use it. And in the scheme of things, that's another really good propaganda by the insurance company. In the scheme of things, if you have, you know, $5,000 in medical bills that you're going to put on your MedPay policy, that's not going to make a bit of difference when you think of how large these companies are. So again, they've done a really good job of discouraging people from making, really good at accepting premiums, a little worse about paying claims.
Yeah, welcome to that industry. That's been going on since they began. How did you begin? 40 years ago, you said. So what was it about law and going to school and I want to do this, to where you develop a passion for it?
Well, that is such a good segue, because I'm going to have to admit that when I graduated from Emory Law School, I went to work for a firm that represented insurance companies.
Okay.
Got to start on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I was 25, 26, not really giving that a whole lot of thought, just looking to get a job and looking to work, and did the interviewing, was hired by a very prestigious downtown law firm, and it just turned out that their clients were insurance companies. So as it turned out, it was great experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would think now you know what it's like on that side of the plate. You switched over from the dark side, right?
Oh, you've heard that expression. Yes. So depending on your point of view, who's in the light and who's in the dark. But I really did have an epiphany moment when I was about 4 or 5 years into doing the insurance side of it, and just took depositions of this very nice couple whose child had been in a horrible accident. And they were I was on this kind of like being mean and being tough, and they were so kind and gracious. We talked earlier about grace, and they showed me so much grace that I was like, boy, I want to be representing people like this. I don't need to be representing this insurance company, which, look, I don't want to denigrate insurance companies too much. They do great, right? We all need it, and they do pay a lot of good claims, and, you know, sometimes they need a little pushing, but you can get them to do the right thing. So, and there are a lot of good people, as we talked earlier about law firms. You know, insurance companies are made up of people, so you do get to the right people, you do get great results. But I decided then and there that I'd rather be representing the people, the victims. It'd just be more satisfying for me to do that kind of work.
And from a business perspective, breaking off and starting your own, now you have Carlton Williamson, right? You have a partner, but that's not an easy process to do. Tell us what that was like for you in terms of, hey, I'm not going to be under the umbrella of anyone else. Now I'm going to be the umbrella and provide for, 5 others that you have there along with your partners.
So I love that, Harper. You know, and it's so interesting we didn't talk about what I talk about, but that was a huge step, right, from going from a law firm and a salary to just being on my own. I started out as a sole practitioner. I mean, I joke, I had a sign, you know, I will work for food, because what I ended up doing was finding a law office that had an office for rent, and I literally said to the lawyer, I can't pay you rent, but I'll do work on your cases. So I started out, you know, I went from a nice downtown law firm salary to just scraping a lot around, and started to network. lawyers that I knew from law school, lawyers I knew from downtown law firms. This is what I do now. And then, of course, as you get clients and you do good work for clients, then they want to refer you to other people. So I really started from the ground up. So to the listeners out there, like maybe I'd like to start out on my own, but I do have a mortgage and I do have expenses. Like, how am I going to go from this salary to starting? There is a path for that, and I'm living proof of that.
Yeah, the risk level and the uncertainty of all of that. But you had to, at one point or another, trust. Look, I'm good at what I do. I love working for people and helping them. The family that you mentioned, that there's an emotion to it, but there's also the practicality, the science of it. Hey, I've got to win, right? I've got to be better at law and remind these agencies that there is a stipulation right here and you're not adhering to that, so let's make this right, make people whole. That's your goal, right? You want to make everybody as whole as you physically and obviously legally possibly can.
Yeah, so interesting because Diane talked about motion and as I look back at it now, it's like, wow, I just, with the faith that I took that step that I could just go and do this, it's like, wow, and I think being young, it probably helps, younger. As you get older, you get a little more set in your ways, and I know it's important to get out of that dynamic. But yeah, looking back at it, it's like I did have that belief in myself. Obviously, I still do, and what I've shown over my career has proven that. But yeah, it takes a little. I don't even know if there were life coaches around back when I did this, but maybe you need some advice or some help, and I obviously could be a resource to any young lawyer thinking about it. But yeah, you believe in yourself, you do the good work, and good things happen.
Well, the legal term would be putting it into practice, wouldn't it? And you're putting into practice what it is that you believe, and it's been paying off, right? That's the neat thing about it. Talk about the growth of the business for you. You mentioned that there's billboards everywhere, and there's got to be a possibility for people to find you in a clearer, more direct way than what it was 5 years ago. So have you relied heavily on not just word of mouth, but websites and information that you put out so that people are aware of what it is? Not that they're in an accident, but if they are in one, they want to call you.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Yeah, so we obviously have a website, SchneiderWilliamson.com, and I try to get my name out there by doing events like this and reaching people. And then, of course, many lawyers do personal injury, but don't necessarily do the litigation part. They try to settle the claim with the insurance company, and if they can't, they're looking for a more experienced firm to do that. So I've kind of built out that little niche of doing what's known as litigation for lawyers that try to settle cases and don't. And there's a fee-sharing arrangement where that's very helpful. It doesn't cost the client anymore to have a more experienced firm. So you have to find a way to compete in a very saturated market. And you have to find people that are looking for help and people that want a different kind of service.
I think there's something you just said there that I think our listeners maybe are a little surprised to hear. So in the realm of personal injury attorneys, there's almost this sense of co-opetition. So one of the niches you found is other personal injury attorneys who are almost exclusively settling cases. If they get a case and go, this might need to go to litigation, there's partnership that can happen. There's agreements that can be reached where they either pass the case on to you or you find a way to work together. Am I getting that right?
Yes, and I want to go just a tad broader.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when somebody was a general practice attorney. And what's the saying? Master of none. What is that saying?
Jack of all trades, master of none.
There you go. Thank you. So
Point to Harper. All right.
He knew that so well.
I'll mark that down.
Maybe
Okay.
you've heard that. I don't know.
I've been told I am that on numerous occasions.
Why do you think we're podcast hosts?
Right. So let's broaden it a little. Then I'll come back to the personal injury attorneys. There's somebody that does well. At this point in the legal field, everyone's a specialist. So there's people that just write wills. There's people that do divorce law. There's people who do corporate work. So I try to market to anybody who's a lawyer, and maybe their client's son has been in a wreck, right? So there's a huge market not only for the personal injury firms to hire us, but for any lawyer. Because, recommending somebody is such a reflection on you, right? It's so important. Like, I struggle sometimes when a client asks me, well, who does this or who does that? Now I know who does podcasts, but...
We're going to get referrals, Harper. All right.
It's important for a lawyer, I'm joking, but it's certainly, you get it. It's certainly important because it's going to be ultimately a reflection on you. Apart from the money side of it, right? You just want to make sure your client's taken care of or your client's relative or son. So there's that market. Any lawyer listening that has the unfortunate situation of a client being in a wreck, could use the right help. And then, of course, the insurance companies, when cases go to court, they throw just like the movies, you've seen the John Voights come in with the briefcases and 5 lawyers behind them. It's intimidating. And, a smaller law firm can really just need the help to win that case, because they will throw stuff at you and you got to fight back.
Have you ever walked into court with the Joe Pesci Southern outfit with the bow tie and all that, and Fred Willard or not Fred Willard?
Fred Gwynn.
Yeah, he's going, "Are you mocking me?"
You are now talking about one of my all-time favorite movies,
the cleaner or the suit plate has the flu. The whole store has the flu.
Judge, I wore this for you. That is just, and it's such a great movie because there's so much real truth in it, like how you cross-examine a witness, how you destroy a witness. He did the one with the lady that couldn't see in the back, so her vision.
Yeah, darling, I'm holding up too, right? What a great that great line, but effective in the movie, right? And it is effective in court as well.
It's good to hear a lawyer say, "This is a good."
Oh,
movie.
it's the number one movie for lawyers to have a laugh, but also to learn. You know what? He was pretty smart there at the end of the movie. He won the case because of, and fill in the blank.
Unlike the original Perry Mason TV show that lawyers go, it's never like that. They never just, admit on the stand.
And, it's funny you thought of that because, I'm no Joe Pesci, but sort of that scrappy, I think you got the sense of what I was describing is just scrappy. How about him? He's like, I'm just starting out. I could take on this murder case, for my nephew. And look how it turned out because he was that good.
You mean you could see what happened at the Stop and Shop, whatever, through all these brown things. What are they called? Leaves. Through all these, oh my gosh, there's some great lines in that movie. However, if I'm in an accident, and whether it be a fender bender that is only a couple of dollars worth of damage that you and I both know that we can fix without a claim, or if it's something where there's a serious injury, where it happened, where we live, the nearest jurisdiction, there's a lot of questions that people might have that you can help to answer to at least get you started in protecting yourself if something does happen. Is that correct?
That is. And when we talked earlier about whether you reach out right away or you wait, it really is important, even if you think you're okay, to get checked out, because if you do what a lot of people do when they're hurt, it's like, I'll take some Advil, I'll see if it gets better, and a week goes by, and then you say, you know what, I don't feel right, so let me call my doctor, and it's another week for the appointment. So then you're 2 weeks into your post-accident date, and you finally go see someone. You know what the insurance company's going to say to that? You couldn't have been hurt, or you would have gotten immediate medical attention. Of course, if you do the opposite, if you're in a little fender bender and you go to the ER, they go, oh, why didn't you wait? So they will have an answer for anything, but it's much better to get checked out, start your case. Obviously, if somebody's seriously injured, they're going to know they need legal representation. Well, maybe not even in that situation. They might think the insurance company is going to treat them fairly, as we talked about it a minute ago. So back to my...
how often do you get treated fairly?
Rarely.
Rarely you get treated fairly.
Rarely in life.
There's a song in there somewhere, right?
Rarely in life. So certainly in a business context where remember, insurance companies are in business to make money, right? Not to be your neighbor, good neighbor, not to be your friend. I mean, look, they are.
You mean I'm not in good hands? Possibly?
He's not saying that. He's just saying those hands
it
are
depends.
not your friend's
it
hands.
Depends.
It depends.
It depends. Yeah.
So I think everybody listening who either owns a business, is involved in a business, has family, has a car, I think they need to take down your information, and I think they just need to have it on hand so that if they ever need a good personal injury attorney, and probably they could also use you if they just need a good estate attorney, or because you've met them and you've probably got some good referral sources for people. How do people get in touch with Schneider Williamson?
Right. Thanks for asking. And yes, I'd like to be a resource because, as we said, I'm a little smaller. I am a resource to people. You can call me for advice on just about anything, and if I can't help you, I will direct you to somebody who I trust who can. So yes, my name is Jason Schneider. The name of the firm is Schneider Williamson. Our website is schneiderwilliamson.com. We're located in Sandy Springs, and yeah, please, look at my website, flag it, bookmark it.
Phone number? What do you have, a business line?
Business line is 770-394-0047. If you want to reach out to me directly, it's jason@schneiderwilliamson.com.
And I'm going to spell it just for those people who are too not bold enough to go, I want to make sure I spell Schneider right. So it is SCHNEIDER. And you know what? I'll spell Williamson too. WILLIAMSON. SchneiderWilliamson.com.
What was the show with Schneider? The Bonnie Franklin was
Yeah.
the head.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
Was that one day at a time?
It was one day
Schneider.
at a time.
And we were talking earlier about the Dodgers. Dukes, it's not Snyder. It's not SNYDER.
No.
It's
Yeah.
SNIDER.
No, it's SCHNEIDER.
Yours is.
Yours is.
Yeah.
Duke Snyder is SNIDER. Yeah.
Don't
sorry.
go there.
Oh,
with him.
we've gone.
He knows
yeah.
his stuff.
Yeah,
Baseball.
sorry.
Don't go down that alley unless you want to be corrected.
Willie and the Duke.
All right.
Jason Schneider, thank you so much for being here. Had a good time. Had a great time talking to an attorney.
What do you know?
That's a good thing.
And I can't believe we're out of time already because there was so much more I'd like to
Well,
say.
then what we need to do is bring you back on another show.
I'd love to.
All right, you'll have to talk to Dan and Mike about that because look, we're just the irritating, slightly annoying podcast host. That's my
No,
job.
you were right with the irritating.
I'm
Yeah, it was a
irritating
Freudian
too.
slip.
But
yeah.
my gimmick is slightly
Your
annoying.
Honor, he said irritating, and he
I'd
has
like
to
it
stick
entered
with
into
it.
the record that my co-host is You're well. Then, if I'm irritating, what are you? Ready to go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the award-winning.
That's right.
We're working on that.
We're working on that. But I also want to thank Diane Martinez from Conscious Creating Life Coaches. And
She didn't bring
yet
a
again,
whistle.
Jason Schneider.
She didn't have a hat.
Schneider
She didn't have a clipboard or a pair of black spot
She
built
left
shoes.
them all in the car because we said you can't bring those in the studio.
Oh, I didn't know you
I
left
can
the
throw
memo.
Gatorade on you if you want me to.
What color? What color Gatorade? Because there's going to
Orange.
be a Harry.
The original yellow.
No, the
or
original
orange?
is the lime.
Yeah, it's orange
green.
because orange is the cover of her book.
Yeah, she's going to do
Open
orange.
up and get unstuck.
She's an author.
All right. Should we keep talking until Mike stands up?
Of course. Mike's sitting back
I wanna-
behind the glass.
Dan-
He's sitting behind the
He's probably
glass.
asleep by now. I want to thank, not because of our guests, but because we irritate him so much. I want to thank Dan for producing the show. Dan, welcome back. Glad you're here. You
Yeah,
did a
thanks for
great
not
job.
quitting on us, Dan.
Yeah,
We
and
appreciate that.
We think because then we'd be stuck with Mike and we'd be dead within a week. So thanks, Dan, for producing the show. Harper, thank you for co-hosting with me. I had a great time. As we record this, it's only 21 days till opening day of baseball season, so I'm excited about
Oh,
that.
I thought you were going to say, winter is almost over, spring is here, and
Oh,
spring
spring, yeah.
is eternal for a Cubs fan. It's always wait till next year.
That's right. But I'm not a Cubs fan.
you don't have to
But
wait
we
till
felt
next
like we were
year.
in Chicago today. Nice segue all the way back to the beginning of the show. Yes, that's
what I
why
do.
you're the pro, the award-winning co-host Harper LaBelle. So for Mike, who is irritated in his cubicle, and for Dan, and for Harper, this is Steven saying, one day we'll get Mike on the show, and we will catch you next time on Gwinnett Business Radio.